Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of Upgrade, a movie that I saw earlier today. The previews were kind of stupid. There was a preview for the sequel to Unfriended. It's now called the Dark Web, and apparently they're getting the whole dark web kick, which was kind of like Sandra Bullock's The Net years ago. And of course, the Fox people are afraid of the dark web, as well as afraid of because they're old, and they're afraid of the alleged dark state, deep state stuff. It's all stuff they've made up because the hyper conservatives, even though they're rich and have everything, feel threatened by those that are not, I guess. Or they just know more about tech and computers and stuff than they do. It's stupid. Anyway, so we have this Upgrade movie, which is sort of an update of Johnny Mnemonic and William Gibson type of stuff. Put a chip in your brain and you're somehow powerful. Yeah, Stone Gremlins already reviewed the movie and loved it. Probably because the movie that they saw before that one wasn't very good, and they loved this one because it at least was entertaining. Well, it's entertaining. I will give it that it's, it's 3 stars. It's entertaining. The critics loved the shit out of it because apparently the guys that did Get Out and some other movies. But really, I haven't seen that other movie. But I saw this one. There was a preview for something else. Another spy movie, and there was another preview for, 2 weeks ago there was a preview for Mission Impossible, whatever. But yeah, anyway, so much for previews. There's a fly in here. Upgrade. Yeah, it's Giant Mike. It's Johnny Mnemonic meets Jason Bourne meets a little bit of, like, Ox Machina meets, a little bit of The Net thrown in there. A little bit of The Recruit thrown in there. These bad guys are in it. They have guns in their arms and camera eyes. He has a chip in him. Plot spoilers just because, well, it's been out a week. But also, and it was in a small theater. But in order to tell the movie, you kind of have to have a little bit of plot spoiler. So your premise is that it's the future, and that this guy and his wife are in a tech-savvy world. She's all tech-savvy. She has a computer company. He has a friend that's an eccentric billionaire who has made a chip called STEM that apparently has an AI in it. Can do anything and help the disabled and stuff and fix spines and whatever. He mentions this to him when they go to visit him. Setting up the crux of events in the story of it's just sort of he's out in the middle of nowhere in this like holographic thing underneath a beach. Those rocks covering up the holographic thing, so he's down in the holographic layer. There's he's a grease monkey guy who has a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am in the beginning, and his wife has a futuristic driverless car. They go out to visit the rich guy, and then they are going home in the driverless car, and for some reason they've, I guess, let the other car go somewhere. I guess they dropped it off to the future he had to have. That's what it was. And so they're on the way home, and the driverless car gets taken over or hacked into, and it ends up on the wrong side of the tracks where this guy was from originally, and they're robbed, and he is paralyzed, and his wife is killed. They're robbed by guys that have guns in their arms and camera eyes, and the police don't know anything about what's going on, and he's later recovers enough to but he's still like a quadriplegic, and then and then his mother shows up to like take care of him or something. And then there's a lady cop who looked kind of like the lady from Star Trek Discovery, but I don't think it was. Uh, and I think he's the guy from Get Out, maybe. Yeah, I don't know who a lot of these new guys are, but the hacker, not the hacker, but the programmer of the chip, the STEM chip. He looks like DiCaprio, like a young DiCaprio. He's not, I don't think. But yeah, kind of that sort of weird, sort of knitted eyebrows kind of thing with blonde hair and spiky hair, but combed. Yeah, so it was all right. The movie. He becomes the guy offers him to. He tries to take himself out, and it doesn't work. Then the guy offers to. The computer guy offers to put the STEM thing in him, even though he shows up very suspiciously when to offer that. And immediately you know, okay, something's up with this guy. Why did he plan to do this to him and only him? And then don't tell anybody. He tells him not to tell anybody about it. And it's like, wait a second. Okay, yeah, I get the twist ending is coming from a mile away. You totally can see it. It's a sort of a double-crossy thing, which begs the question, yet again, with spy movies of this type, why does the hero enhance the bad guy? Why does the villain enhance the hero so that he can defeat him? It's the Battlefield Earth thing all over again. It's the James Bond thing before Battlefield Earth. James Bond was always doing that. The villain would be all, aha, now Bond, I have figured out a way to defeat you, and I'm going to explain the whole thing. Ha, you can't stop me now. And Bond would go, bang. Yeah. It's like the villain's always explaining what he's going to do before he does it. So the showdown happens. With these cyberpunk type of movies like Ex Machina and this one, which was more of a Frankenstein's monster movie with the creator creates something and then his creation goes amok. Same thing here. In a lot of ways, his creation goes amok. It does, of course, beg the ultimate question of the premise. How does he have superpowers? Why? How would that work? He's got a brain chip that enhances his brain and sends messages to his disabled spine to make him walk again. How does that give him superpowers? They do not indicate in the story anywhere that it would do that. And how would it do it? Was it like the Tuxedo and Jackie Chan, Super Cop or something? Is he like a Borg? Is he a transhuman? Not to be confused with a transsexual. A transhuman was a person who's like part technology. Transhuman. That technology is a little beyond us. But the movie was set in the future. They probably will develop bionic spine implants before too long. Because they're getting there. They're primitive. But it won't make you a super person. It will just fix what's there. Which is kind of, fixes what's there. So you can go defeat the bad guys. Of course, then it begs the question, why would the bad guys do that? Wouldn't it make more sense to just leave him like that? And who's to say that he wouldn't stay that way? Yeah, I mean, he's all messed up. Who's to say that he wouldn't just decide, what would happen if he decided, I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to stay here and die. That would be the end of the movie. It's like they're doing a lot of coincidences to get from point A to point B that really don't make any rational sense that would do that at all. But fine, sure. And incidentally, I'm re-recording the review since the other version didn't work. But yeah, and I'm making it quicker because it's gonna be quick. Yeah, okay, fine. It's science fiction. It's fantasy. Yeah, we would. These typical of these spy movies, the type of movies they always have like a ridiculously overpowered computer technology that they're able to do stuff like hack into the robot drone thing or whatever. And the drone stuff always looks really, really cool and super advanced, and everything else is super advanced. They do have those driverless supercars, but they don't look like they do in the movie. They and yeah, it would be hacked immediately. So yeah, um, but yeah, somebody would figure out how to do that. Um, yeah, all of the blows in the movie that lead to the next scenes are fairly telegraphed. You know what's going to happen. You know from the get go something weird about this guy that has this chip, and then there's something weird about him putting it in the other guy, the hero. Which begs the question: why the hell would he do that? It's like, and then tell him he can't say anything about it. Of course, he's gonna do something about it. He's gonna go and find the murderers and kill them, or something. Cause sure, now it's Death Wish and the Equalizer, but with a Terminator kind of drone guy who, like in Elysium with the power armor. Well, at least that made a little more sense, because in Elysium the guy had power armor that would sort of enhance his strength. But like human muscle tissue and bone wouldn't be enhanced any by a chip just giving neural transmitters faster. It wouldn't make him have steroids and make him powerful and fast. It wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's not how that works. Now, if they said like nanobots were inside him, like the bad guy has a nanobot breath that he uses to, one of the bad guys, which he only uses once, because he stupidly during one of the boss fights near the end, he mentions that he's got it. So the hero goes, oh well, I'll keep him from spitting on me, or breathing on me, or whatever. It's like, why did he say that? Like, what did? Bad guy's like, oh, I'm gonna explain my tactical advantage against you. Yeah, so you won't use it, or I guess. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff. I guess I've seen too many spy movies, but yeah, it was. Still, it was all right. It was yeah. And Johnny Mnemonic was silly. That was a movie at least 20 years ago, and it was more like a. I mean, the computers were like old Macs and IBMs they'd cobbled together when they put the chip in his brain. The gigaquads of data in his brain. And then this odd ending that sort of... Oh yeah, they did... Oh yeah, at the end of the movie, minor spoilers I guess, they do the Brazil ending. But they do the Brazil ending the way it was Terry Gilliam meant for the Brazil ending to be. So if you've seen that, you're like... Oh, okay. Yeah, so they did the Brazil ending, crossed with the Jason Bourne ending. And so maybe it's that this director thought, oh, the Love Conquers All ending of Brazil was stupid. So I'll just say like he's in a virtual world at one point, yeah, which was the ending of Brazil, the actual director's cut. There's a virtual world scene in it. I won't say when that is. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you kind of already, or in his mind or whatever, and yeah, I'm thinking this director didn't see the director's cut of Brazil. They just assumed there should have been that, but there actually was that ending. That actually, yeah, in that movie it was different. Yet another schlub guy who takes over, stops the bad guy. But yeah, yeah, you don't tell your good guy everything that he needs to know with your space chip thing. It's like, why would you do that? And how does he have martial arts techniques? And it made sense in The Matrix because he's in a computer game, but in this one he's not. He's just a guy who is an invalid guy, but he has superpowers now, and he kills a guy, and then he stabs a guy in the face and stuff, and it comes torture. That's good. Yeah, torture the guy. He'll admit to everything. Yeah, he's kind of an asshole, actually. So you're like, okay, yeah, you're a good guy. He's not an anti-hero. He's kind of a jerk. And like at the end of the movie, you're like, okay, But yeah, it's like nobody's redeemable really in this movie. Yeah, I would say it's just kind of there. It was all right. It's fine. It's guess what's a rental. You know, don't need to see it in theaters. I guess. I'm just like, ooh, there's martial arts in it. Oh, sort of. Yeah, there's military tapes and that. Some of the visuals are interesting. Futuristic cars and tech and stuff. But the critics are fawning all over this movie that isn't. Yeah, that was in this one theater after like a week. Actually, so is Avengers. It's only one or two theaters now after like 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. But it's like, yeah, okay, sure. Next week is The Incredibles 2, and the week after that, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and that pretty much will take us into June. Please. Yeah, so there's my review of Upgrade, which is Ex Machina is better. Yeah, it was too dreary, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't bad. This wasn't great. Yeah, they don't have that technology yet. But it's supposed to be the future, so. Which would beg the question if the computer guy, oh yeah, there's a hacker, gendered, sort of a transgendered, there's a transgendered hacker lady guy in it, who at one point mentions, "Don't ask me what gender I am," which is weird. It's like, well, no, he didn't ask that, so it's like that's an odd thing to throw in there. Like, okay. Yeah, that's well, I just don't know why he would say that as a character in the story, because it doesn't have any relevance for him to say that. It's sort of like pointing out whether I have a red shoe on or not. Like, pay no attention to my red arm, C-3PO, you know. And that was a mystery box thing. Actually, that was a reference to the red arm. That was a reference to it. Yeah, it's interesting. The Star Wars. Yeah, that's a tangent, but it's interesting how much of the expanded universe they are including in these newer Star Wars movies. But that's another story. Anyway, that probably don't need to go into. So that is my review of this movie.